Welcome back. Take a deep breath right now, not the rushed one you've been taking all day, a real one, because what you're about to hear is not just a speech, it's a mirror, and in 2026, the world doesn't need more noise, it needs people who are awake. If you're listening to this, it's not an accident. Some part of you is tired of feeling stuck, tired of waking up with dreams and going to bed with excuses, tired of watching other people live the life you secretly know you deserve. Let me ask you something honestly. Who is controlling your life right now? Is it your past? Is it your fear? Is it people's opinions? Is it comfort? Or is it just habit? Because here's the brutal truth most people avoid. If you don't control your life, something else will. And in 2026, distraction is aggressive, comfort is addictive, and excuses are everywhere. But so is opportunity. 2026 is not coming to save you. It's coming to expose you. It will reveal who learned, who adapted, who grew, and who stayed exactly the same. Most people think control means controlling others, money, circumstances. No, real control begins much deeper. Control starts the moment you decide that your mind will no longer be a battlefield where everyone else wins. You don't lose your life all at once. You lose it slowly, scrolling one more time instead of thinking, saying tomorrow instead of starting, choosing comfort instead of courage, blaming instead of building. And one day, you wake up and wonder, how did I get here? Let me tell you something powerful, and listen carefully. Your life in 2026 will not be defined by luck. It will be defined by what you tolerated in silence. You tolerated low standards. You tolerated staying small so others felt comfortable. You tolerated distractions that stole your focus. You tolerated self-doubt dressed up as realism, but today, that ends. Controlling your life does not mean everything will be perfect. It means you stop being a victim of your own mind. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your greatest prison, and most people never realize they left the door unlocked. Every thought you repeat becomes a belief. Every belief becomes a behavior. Every behavior becomes a lifestyle. So if you want control in 2026, you don't start with motivation. You start with awareness. Notice how you talk to yourself. Notice how quickly you quit in your head before you quit in real life. Notice how often you say, I can't, when the truth is I'm scared. Fear is not the enemy. Unexamined fear is. The people who control their lives aren't fearless. They're just tired of letting fear decide for them. Think about this. How many opportunities did you miss because you waited to feel ready? Read this slowly in your mind. You don't gain control by waiting for confidence. You gain confidence by taking control. In 2026, clarity will be currency, and clarity comes from decisions. Decide what you want, not what sounds good, not what looks good online, but what actually matters to you. Because if you don't define success for yourself, you'll spend your life chasing someone else's definition. Some of you are exhausted not because you're doing too much, but because you're doing too little of what matters. You wake up tired not from effort, but from resistance, resisting change, resisting discipline, resisting responsibility. Let me tell you something most motivational talks won't say. Discipline is not punishment. It's self-respect in action. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you take back control. Every time you break one, you give it away. Control is built in small moments no one sees. Waking up when it's hard, turning off distractions when it's tempting, choosing growth when comfort is calling your name. Your future is watching what you do today, not what you plan to do. And yes, people will misunderstand you when you start changing. They will call you obsessed. They will say you've changed. They will feel uncomfortable because your growth reminds them of their excuses. Let them. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to live a life that makes sense to you. In 2026, you must learn to say no without guilt, No to draining conversations. No to people who only show up when you're winning. No to habits that keep you average, because every no to distraction is a yes to direction. Let's talk about time, the one thing you can never get back. You don't lack time, you lack intention. Time doesn't disappear, it gets invested or wasted. If you tracked your days honestly, you'd see where your life is going. Your schedule is your future written in advance. So ask yourself, does the way you spend your time match the life you say you want? If not, change it. Not tomorrow, not next month, now. Control requires courage, the courage to be uncomfortable on purpose. Growth feels like loss before it feels like freedom. You will outgrow places, you will outgrow people, you will outgrow versions of yourself you once loved. That's not betrayal, that's evolution. In 2026, stop romanticizing struggle without strategy. Hard work without direction is just exhaustion. Be intentional. Learn skills that pay. Build habits that compound. Strengthen your body so your mind follows. Protect your focus like it's your future, because it is. And understand this deeply, no one is coming to rescue you. That's not scary, it's empowering. Because if no one is coming, that means you are the solution. You don't need permission to change. You don't need approval to grow. You don't need validation to begin. You only need a decision. Decide that 2026 will not be another year you survive, but a year you command. Decide that your past will be a lesson, not a life sentence. Decide that your emotions will be signals, not steering wheels. Decide that your standards will rise even if it costs you comfort. Control is not loud, it's calm, it's focused. It's quiet confidence built over time. And some days you'll fail, you'll slip, you'll doubt. That doesn't mean you lost control. It means you're human. What matters is that you don't quit on yourself again. Because the most dangerous habit is giving up too early and calling it acceptance. You are capable of more discipline than you think, more resilience than you believe, more control than you've ever experienced. But it starts with one hard truth. No one owes you the life you want, you owe it to yourself. So when 2026 tests you, and it will, remember this moment. Remember that you chose awareness over autopilot. Remember that you chose responsibility over excuses. Remember that you chose control over comfort. Stand up for your future self today. If this message spoke to you, don't let it end here. Take action. Write down one habit you will change starting now, one distraction you will remove, one promise you will keep no matter what. And if you're ready to truly transform your mindset, your discipline, and your life, then stay connected with **, modify yourself **. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and remind yourself every single day, my life is my responsibility and I choose to control it. This is your year. This is your moment. Modify yourself. Welcome back. Stay with me. Don't rush this, because what we are doing right now is not just listening, we are rewiring the way you see your life. Most people think control arrives when life becomes easy. That's a lie. Control shows up when life is heavy and you decide not to drop it. 2026 will demand more from you than any comfortable version of yourself can handle. It will ask questions like, who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when motivation disappears? Who are you when discipline is the only thing left in the room? And this is where most people lose control. Not because they are weak, but because they never trained their mind to stay present under pressure. Your emotions are powerful, but they were never meant to lead your life. Feelings change with the weather. Discipline stays when feelings leave. Think about how many times you felt inspired and how few times you followed through. Inspiration lights the spark. Discipline builds the fire. If you want control in 2026, you must become comfortable doing things even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Because the version of you that only acts when motivated will always be controlled by moods, and moods are unreliable leaders. Let me tell you something that might sting a little, but it's truth. Your comfort zone is costing you your future. It costs you your confidence. It costs you your growth. It costs you the life you secretly want but publicly avoid committing to. Comfort feels safe, but safety without progress becomes a cage. Every day you delay becoming who you're capable of being, you pay with regret. And regret compounds faster than effort ever will. In 2026, stop negotiating with the voice that tells you to quit early. That voice sounds reasonable. It sounds logical, but it has stolen more dreams than failure ever did. That voice says, rest, you can start tomorrow. Tomorrow turns into months. Months turn into years. Years turn into what if. You don't need more time, you need fewer excuses. Control your mornings and you begin to control your life. Because how you start your day trains your brain for how you handle pressure. Wake up with intention. Touch your purpose before your phone. Move your body so your mind wakes up. Remind yourself why you refuse to stay average. Average is crowded, average is noisy, average is safe, and deep down, you know you weren't built for average. You were built to stretch, to rise, to carry responsibility bigger than your fear. But responsibility is heavy, and that's why most people avoid it. They want the rewards without the weight. You don't control your life by avoiding responsibility. You control it by embracing it before you feel ready. Responsibility sharpens you. It forces you to grow into the person your goals require. In 2026, stop waiting for external validation. Applause is addictive, and addiction kills independence. If you only move when people clap, you will stop when they go silent. Learn to clap for yourself in the quiet moments. Progress made in silence is the most dangerous kind because it shocks the world later. And yes, you will feel lonely on this path sometimes. Growth is isolating before it's inspiring. But loneliness with purpose is better than company with stagnation. You must protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not every conversation deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves space in your mind. Your focus is not infinite. Spend it like it matters because it does. Every distraction you entertain is a vote against your future. Every focused action is a vote for the person you're becoming. And don't misunderstand, this is not about becoming cold or heartless. This is about becoming intentional. Kind but not weak. Focused but not rigid. Driven but not empty. Control is balance built through awareness. You must learn to sit with discomfort without escaping it. That urge to quit, that feeling of restlessness, that pressure in your chest, that's not danger, that's growth knocking. Most people run from discomfort and call it self-care, real self-care is doing what your future self will thank you for. Your future self is watching right now, asking, are you going to choose the hard thing today, or the familiar thing? Familiar feels safe because it's known, but known does not mean right. In 2026, you must be willing to disappoint others to avoid disappointing yourself again. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you lose a piece of control. Every time you stay silent when you should speak, you shrink your power. Speak your truth calmly, clearly, confidently, not to attack. Not to impress, but to stand, because control is rooted in self-respect, and self-respect comes from alignment between your words and your actions. You cannot lie to yourself and still expect inner peace. Some of you need to forgive yourself, not because you didn't try, but because you didn't know better then. You made decisions with the awareness you had. Now you know more, so do more. Guilt keeps you stuck in the past. Responsibility moves you forward. Drop the shame, pick up the lesson. Your past does not disqualify you from control. It qualifies you if you learn from it, and remember this, no one becomes powerful overnight. Control is built day by day, choice by choice, habit by habit. Small disciplines practiced consistently beat intense effort done occasionally. You don't need to change your whole life today. You need to change one decision and repeat it. One more focused hour, one more disciplined morning, one more honest conversation with yourself. Momentum doesn't come from perfection, it comes from persistence, so when you fall, and you will, don't collapse. Adjust, stand back up, and continue, because quitting is the only real failure. In 2026, let your standards rise so high that your old excuses can't reach them. Demand more from yourself than the world demands from you. That's how you take control internally first, externally later, and listen carefully. You don't need to become someone else. You need to become more of who you already are beneath the fear. There is strength in you that hasn't been tested yet. There is discipline in you that hasn't been activated yet. There is leadership in you that starts with leading yourself. So don't wait for a sign. This is it. If this message resonates with you, don't just feel it, act on it. Pause this, write down one non-negotiable habit you will protect in 2026, one boundary you will enforce, one goal you will pursue even when it gets uncomfortable. And if you want more messages that challenge you, ground you, and push you to rise, stay connected with Modify Yourself ***. Subscribe, share this with someone who's ready to stop drifting, and remind yourself daily, I am not here to be controlled by fear, distraction, or comfort. I am here to lead my life. This is your responsibility. This is your power. This is your time. Modify yourself.